You know you want to homeschool your little ones this year, but where do you even begin? What materials do you prep? What curriculum should you use? I'm here to come alongside you and take the guesswork out of getting started with Homeschool Preschool. Some of my favorite memories with my older two kids came out of our years of Homeschool Preschool around the kitchen table. Now I'm getting ready to begin all over again for the third time with my youngest. So I hope you're as excited as I am to begin the conversation of how to teach your little ones at home. Hey there, Mama. I'm Lauren Brainerd, and this is Teach Your Littles at Home. I'm so excited you have tuned in as I share fun and hands-on activities you can use right away to help you play and learn with your little ones. So let's dive right into today's episode so you can make more memories than you ever dreamed of. I can't believe it, but now that my daughter is almost 2 years old, we are getting ready to dive into another year of Homeschool Preschool. She is currently 20 months old, and she loves to color and dig into everything her older siblings are doing. It definitely shows she's the third child because my other two kids just didn't have these experiences at as young of an age as she is because they didn't have an older sibling that had crayons and scissors and glue and all the things at the table as they were running around the table. So definitely a different life for her than her older siblings. Since she isn't quite 2 years old, I will need to modify a few things as we begin the next couple months, but she's definitely ready. So if you're sitting there and wondering, is my child actually ready to sit down at the table and learn? The answer is yes. It is never ever too early to start teaching your little ones at home. So you're probably thinking, how do I even get started? When do we begin our year? The very first week in September is when I like to officially begin our Homeschool Preschool year. It's usually still warm from the end of the summer, but we dig right in with an apple-themed unit to really get excited about learning. I do so much better when I have a plan going into the school year, and so much of this just comes down to mindset. So are you the kind of mom who wants one activity per day? Do you want maybe one before nap and one after? Or do you want to sit down with 2 solid hours of Homeschool Preschool every single morning with an afternoon basket as well? Think about what works for you and your schedule. And if you need some help with determining what your Homeschool Preschool routine should look like, you can hear more about the daily routine that has worked for us and what I'm planning on doing with my third child back in episode 2. Since my youngest is a little bit younger than when I started with my older two, we're going to be starting with just about 20 minutes per day of learning, and we'll work up to an hour or 2 per day as the year goes on. Now, this might be 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon. You really just have to gauge your kids to see what is their mood like. Are they having fun or are they frustrated? Are they wanting to get up and run and find toys, or are they asking for more activities? The easiest way I have found to accomplish the goal of doing all the things I want them to do and working on the skills I want them to learn is through a theme every single week. This year, my plan is to complete 40 weeks of Homeschool Preschool. Since I homeschooled my older 2 children for preschool, we completed a total of about 40 themes over the course of a couple years, and each one had 25 activities per theme. So this past year, I took all the activities we did and put together a school year calendar with 40 weeks, and I organized them by the seasons, any holidays that fell, and then put together a complete set of unit plans so that I have a very specific guide to follow as we go through our year. This way I hold myself accountable and I don't get distracted with all the other fun things that pop up on Pinterest throughout the year. And I can make sure that we hit all 26 letters of the alphabet, numbers, shapes, colors, the 4 seasons, and a variety of holidays. It was so incredibly fun, and I have so many memories of taking my older 2 children on a journey from A to Z, through the alphabet, and I can't wait to start this all over again because we had so much fun. If you want to actually pause this episode, I added a link in the show notes so you can go download our free calendar and you can follow along with me as we go through it. Inside the download, you are going to find a couple different things. So first, you're going to find our school year calendar, and that lays out all 40 themes with typically 4 per month, but some months might only have 3 depending on holidays. And then after that school year calendar, you're going to find all of our unit plans for the entire school year. So it shows you all the skills that I plan on covering with my daughter, when I'm going to be teaching each letter. And I also included a link to the blog posts I wrote as I went through these units with my older 2 kids so that you can see photos, grab some free activity ideas, and all those sorts of things within those 40 units. Now, I want to stop for a moment and just remind you that I was a teacher for 11 years. And so homeschooling my kids really does just come naturally to me. There is no right or wrong way to homeschool your kids. So even if you have 0 teaching experience, you have no idea how to cut on a line in a straight line yourself, I promise you that you can do this. If your heart and your mindset are in the right place, you are absolutely capable of homeschooling your preschoolers. So I know this episode is all about how to prepare for your homeschool preschool year. And I just want to stress the importance of your mindset as you are preparing, because if your mindset is in any way negative, you will not have as much fun and you will not be successful with following through with the activities you want to do every single day. So back to those unit plans that we were talking about. You can mix and match the themes and activities any way you want, and you will still be successful. The order does not rely on teaching one unit before the other or anything like that. This is just the way that I laid it out, where I find it works the best for our family this way. Now, as you are going through the unit plans, you're going to notice that there are 6 skill areas that I teach each week as we go through the different learning themes. So typically we will have a letter activity, some sort of number or counting activity, or other math activity. We do a fine motor activity, a gross motor activity, arts and crafts, and a sensory bin. Over the coming months, I will be sharing more about each of these areas, but if you want to kind of learn more right away, if you're a go-getter and you just want to get started, then go grab my toddler activity guide. It's completely free, and it goes over all of these skill areas in detail so you can learn what they are, and then I share lots and lots of free activities to go through each and every skill. So I'll drop the link in the show notes to that guide if you want to go download that. My hope with this guide is that it helps to solidify what all these different skill areas are and gives you some direction as to what you should be teaching your little ones as you go through your week. Fine motor skills are so important at this age, so I make sure that we include a fine motor activity every single day. Gross motor is so important because these are all of the physical movement, running, jumping. We have to help our little ones get their energy out if we want to make it to nap time and bedtime every day. The more movement we include in our kids' day, the better they're going to do learning. So what I like to do is sit and do a table activity and then go out back and do a gross motor, a movement activity. Come back in for some arts and crafts, go play hide and seek, whatever it might be, just to break up the learning time so they're not sitting for too long at one time. So I hope this guide helps you just to kind of figure out what you should be teaching your child and gives you a plan of how to get there. So now that you have a plan of what to teach and the types of activities, what can you do to get started preparing materials? How can you get started today? I know I've already shared a lot of activities with you and a lot of freebies and a lot of things to download, but I have one more for you. If you don't grab anything else today, make sure to grab my free toddler activity bundle. This includes activities to cover all 6 of those different skill areas that we've covered, just to give you something to get started with right away. There's an alphabet activity, there's a Play-Doh fine motor activity, there's a sensory bin, some counting cards, lots of fun stuff. So make sure to grab that free activity bundle just to give yourself something to practice with, something to get started with. The easiest way to get started prepping materials for the year is to find the activities you want and print them out. Then what I like to do is grab a stack of file folders And inside each one, I staple one of the gallon size zip top bags, and I can use this as a pocket for any little cards, paper strips, anything like that I need to cut out. Then if there's any 8.5 by 11 sheets of printed out paper, I just tuck those right inside the folder. You can easily prep a week or even a month at a time so that you can have one day where you're preparing things and then they're just ready to go every single day. I personally like to do 1 week at a time so it's fresh in my mind, but I've had other friends who have actually prepped an entire year of materials one summer so that every day they could just wake up and go for the rest of the year. Prepping some things in advance really will make your homeschool preschool year flow so much better as time goes on, because now that you've gotten a little bit ahead, you can just continue to prep things in the spare time that you have in your day. The other thing I love to do when we're first getting started is create an area to display all the really fun art projects or really nice activity pieces that my kids make. What I have found works best for us is I just put a thumbtack on a piece of ribbon from wall to wall in my laundry room, and then I stuck a bunch of clothespins on it. And when we would paint or anything like that, then I could hang them up there. It's great if you need a place to dry things, and also just it's a fun way to kind of watch your kids' progress through the year. Then I have one of those big under bed storage bins under my kids' bed, and when the clothespins get full, I just pull things down and I tuck them inside that bin. Then at the end of your year, you can actually create a portfolio of your homeschool preschool year. So just anytime you put things in that bin, I like to put them in upside down on the bottom, face down. And that way, each time I add, I know it's somewhat in chronological order. So at the end of the year, I can take those, staple them all together, and make a little portfolio. My kids absolutely love to this day. I mean, my son's 8, and every once in a while he goes and pulls it out, and he loves to look through and see all the fun that we had all those years ago. So as you're continuing to think about what you want your homeschool preschool year to look like and what you should do to prepare, the most important thing that I will leave you with is just hold yourself accountable. Make it fun. Find activities that you will enjoy and your kids will enjoy. If you know that you cannot handle pulling out a sensory bin completely full of rice, and after that stringing beads, and then having to make Play-Doh, then those are not the activities for your family. Don't get caught in the Pinterest trap. I've been there before. You find all these fun things and you think their kids look happy in the pictures, so I have to do this so mine will look happy too. I promise you, if these are not things you will enjoy, don't do them, because if you're not enjoying it, your kids aren't going to enjoy it either. So just try and find things that will make you happy doing them, and it will be so much more enjoyable for your family. Over this next year, you are going to make so many memories. Your kids are going to remember all of the positive things. Just don't be too hard on yourself. If you try something and it doesn't work, pick yourself back up and try something else tomorrow or this afternoon. Don't ever let yourself feel like a failure, because what I always tell my kids is the way that we learn is through making mistakes. And sometimes, even as moms, we'll try things with our kids and they just don't work the first time. It's not the right fit for our child. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to learning, and the same applies in homeschool preschool. As time goes on, you're going to very quickly find what you like to do and your kids like to do. You're going to make so many memories. It's going to be fun, and you're going to look back and be so thankful and proud of what you've accomplished over this next year. If you want to come and chat with a wonderful group of other moms as we all dive into homeschooling our preschoolers this year, then come and join my Teach Your Littles at Home Facebook community, where we are going to be talking about the sensory bins we do each week, fun fine motor activities, how we're getting the wiggles out, all those things, so that we can cover those 6 skill areas every week at home with our little ones. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions as you get started. Join that Facebook group, and I can't wait to chat with you there. So just remember, hold yourself accountable, make it fun, make memories, and don't be too hard on yourself. I'll talk to you again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Teach Your Littles at Home. I hope you are feeling so inspired to create a new activity to do right away with your little ones.
If you like listening to my mommy, will you please leave her a review?
Before you head off to plan the next activity, would you mind leaving me a quick review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening from? This is the only way for me to know if you're finding my tips, activities, and advice helpful, and I get so excited reading each and every review. I hope this episode has left you feeling empowered to try something new with your kids this week. And if so, would you please hit the share button and share this episode with another one of your mama friends who also wants to create activities with her little ones. I can't wait to share even more fun activities with you on our next episode. Have a wonderful rest of your day playing and making memories with your little ones.